David Stark from WatcherPass.com, your website for movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Today I'm doing a roundtable with Fox and Rob Rich about their all-new powerful documentary, Time. We're going to get to that roundtable in just a second, but first let's check out that trailer. And while you're watching it, if you don't mind liking and subscribing, it helps us out a lot. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi,
Good
Rick.
to see you guys.
How are you?
I'm Jen. I'll be your moderator. I'll be the voice of God here. So I just want to introduce myself and let you guys know that I'll be helping to assist as the journalists go through. So if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and start with David as the first question.
Well, so this is David. Thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be a really insightful and inspiring interview, I can tell. I think my question will be an easy one, and I think it's probably something that anyone who sees this film is wondering. This is for Fox, I mean, and also Rob as well. This was such a long kind of emotional and harrowing journey. How did you kind of get through it, stay positive? I think your attitudes, both of yours, were just so inspiring during this film. So, kind of some of it's shown in the film, but I'd love to hear some more thoughts on how you were able to kind of persevere through 20 years of just hell, it seems like.
I think the best way to answer that, David, is first, thank you for having us. But to say that when Rob and I got married in 1997, I had married my high school sweetheart and the love of my life. And I was the happiest I had ever been, so much so that I picked up a camera and started recording the fact that it was official. We had become a family. And then 6 months later, we were facing 297 years in prison, and I had lost my family. And so then I continued to record because it's a matter of being able to resist the fact that the state is now telling me that because of my actions, my family is no longer. So I just think that kind of like in that vein of saying that this film is about maintaining hope because we set our eye on something that was extremely important from the onset, and that was building a family, and nothing and no one, not even the state of Louisiana, was going to keep us from having our family.
I would have to say for me, I was able to draw from the resilience of our ancestors, knowing that other people had gone through similar circumstances of my own, made me realize that there were other victory stories that were out there, as there were other men, much like myself, trapped inside of, the bowels of our American criminal justice system. They were trapped in such a way, but yet on a journey toward freedom and redemption. So I was able to draw from, the likes of people like Nelson Mandela, to be able to draw from, the likes of people like Mumia Abu-Jamal, fighting from death row. Being able to draw from people like Wilbur Rito, one of Louisiana's longest serving inmates before receiving relief himself. So it was through the resilience and the victories of those men that I was able to realize that victory was possible for me and my family. So that is separate and apart from the love of my family, would by far be the way that I got over.
Great. And Dean, you'll be next.
Hi guys, how you doing today?
Hey,
Dean,
Dean.
what's up?
I'm doing fine. This was such a powerful film, and honestly, I had tears in my eyes just watching the film. And I'd like to know, when did the director, Garrett, approach you to share your story on the big screen? Were you hesitant, or did you feel like we got to share this story because we want people to know the importance of what you guys been through for 2 decades?
We definitely had no reservations whatsoever, but just, our prayers being answered that we would, that God would use our story to put before the masses, to stand as a testament to what's going on, what can be done, and what must be done in our criminal justice system and inside of our families, that we must hold on to each other as if our lives depended on it, because it does. So to have a young filmmaker that is as amazing and artistic as the one and only Garrett Bradley embody our family story and want to craft it into the masterpiece that she did to share with the world, we're nothing less than humble.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And Jared?
Hi guys, so
Hey,
good to see you up
Jared.
here together. It's amazing. Good to see a smile on your face, Miss Fox. It is well deserved. I just want to say the flashbacks of your family, and everything, all the current ones, obviously, but the flashbacks were just melting me with your kids and everything. So glad you picked up a camera back then. But my thing was, it was funny because I had questions of faith that I was gonna, because I knew I was gonna have to interview. I had questions of faith that I was preparing before faith was even introduced into the documentary, because I knew that it had to have taken something supernatural to get through what you went through. I do know that God is a father to the fatherless, but it would have been extremely difficult without your better half. So I guess my question would be, how did you go about implementing a spiritual foundation without a strong father figure present?
I think because Rob was present. People just cannot even imagine. There is no way in the world I could have raised those 6 boys to be the fine young men that they are by myself. I mean, I want to give myself kudos, but unfortunately, that shit ain't real. I am not that good. But just for them to be able, for my husband to have maintained the respect of our children, unlike other parents, I didn't have to say, maybe I couldn't have said, when your daddy comes home, he's going to deal with you. Maybe my
Right.
more like, wait till your daddy call collect tonight, or wait till you go to visitation next weekend. Make sure that you're available to visit next weekend because you're going to see your daddy.
I
And,
had to
and
laugh.
knowing that when he sat there with them, he wasn't going to lift his voice. He does not use profanity with his sons. But by the time he would just look at them and say, son, it was done. I was like, it should be
Yeah,
this easy for you, right?
right. That's
So
right.
it was just the fact that even though he was physically absent, he
Mhm.
was totally present and emotionally attached and engaged with his children, fathering from wherever he was, however he could.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
uh, this is just a kind of a follow-up with something you mentioned earlier, Fox. You mentioned that you started recording just to kind of document your family, and the trove of home videos and past videos were just a joy to see. Is it just something that you did to help Rob experience it as well? Is it something that you personally did? And then also, at what point did you kind of start thinking that this could also turn into some sort of film with a larger message?
I think it would probably come in 3 phases. The first phase was I was happy I had a family. I wanted to document it. It was beautiful. We did it. The second phase was I lost my family. Rob has got to see these moments. He will not be denied. From the birth of our children. If I can't have him here in the room, I definitely am going to record it for him. And then the third phase, by the time we had been in the system for a decade, the next phase of it then became that I cannot believe that we are still here, that good, well-meaning, deserving citizens who have shown themselves to be deserving are still trapped in this situation under a 60-year sentence. And then learning and meeting more families on my path emphasize that we were not the only ones. This wasn't just some coincidental happenstance, but this was something that was intentionally, vicariously being carried out on a daily basis in the state of Louisiana and other places across our country. And so after we reached that revelation, I knew that I had to share what we were going through, just so that our voices could be used to speak for the 2.3 million other incarcerated families in the United States that are suffering under the same auspice of this racist, set up for profit system off of human carnage.
Thank you, Dean.
Well said.
Man, you took one of my questions now.
The
Dean,
problem
I
with
got a ton of stuff in there.
Absolutely, you're right. Especially, I love the fact that family is everything and everything is family. And I want to know, through the 21 years that you guys had to go through this, how did you manage to keep such hope, such faith, such pride, knowing that the system has torn your family apart, but yet it still kept you guys together after all these years?
I think for me, it would have to be when you think about the fact that it was the state of Louisiana versus Robert G. Richardson. It let me realize that there was a war going on, that there was a battle happening. And inside of battles, oftentimes you may win the battle, but not necessarily the war. The victory was ultimately being released, but along the way, we had a lot of little bitty battles that we won along the way. And as a family, we took those battles in and said, okay, we live to fight another day. And with that never give up kind of attitude, it's those little small victories that you have to count because they count. They help you keep your sanity. So by and large, for us, was the way that we were able to get through this, was just counting the little victories until we ultimately got the war won.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And Jared, this will be the last question.
Okay. The moment, Miss Fox, that you popped at the desk where you just were giving it to the cameraman, how often did those kind of explosion moments of the frustration actually happen rather than you just kind of being used to the disappointment? How often did you do that? And did you have to go to another room to hide it from the kids to keep their hope up? Or how did you deal with that?
No, we have to deal with it as a family. All of this is a family thing. It is, the weight is not, unfortunately, going to be carried on one more than the other because we're all going to feel it. But for me, I had to conserve my energy, Jared, because we had a big battle going on. We were taking on, as a poor family of 8, we were taking on the whole state of Louisiana for our freedom and for our life and the life of our patriarch. And so we, just couldn't go out expending energy on the system, right? We had to be very wise in how we address those. And by the time that the cameraman was there that day, I was really tired. And I exhibited more than I really wanted to show or give because, you got to stay in control. And but at that moment, I was fucking tired.
I believe it. Yeah. I believe it. Thank you.
All right. We actually have time for one more. So David, we'll have you do the last one.
Oh, wow. Ending on me. I guess this is a question for Rob then. After the family strength throughout this was just inspiring to watch. I was just amazed at how close knit you all were, and we brought up some of that in this interview. But I guess I was just wondering because the film kind of ends fairly abruptly. What did you do the first night you were back, the first week you were back when you're home with your boys? What did you do and what did that feel like?
I think I probably spent the first days, of course, trying to make sure that I got an opportunity to see each one of my boys because they were kind of spread out. We are still fighting at this particular point to even have a family visit. It's been 2 years and a little over 2 weeks since I've been home, and we have yet to all be together in the same space as a family. So we're optimistic that we'll be able to do that for Christmas this year, as one of our sons is in Korea right now. In the military, and right now, due to quarantine and all of those other moving pieces or whatever, he has not been able to take leave. So that would probably be some of the first of my first when I came home, and just trying to see the people that had helped us along the way, because it wasn't just Fox and I that fought to get through this. It was a whole community of people that had waged war against the system and demanded my freedom. So as they say that freedom doesn't come without a demand. The community demanded my freedom at a certain point, and it was those people that I wanted to make sure that I got around to being able to say thank you, and that how much I appreciate them being willing to fight for me when I was fighting, and my family and I were fighting for our lives. I mean, literally.
And it is so good to hear that you're still fighting. It sounds like you're still doing work to try to implement change in the justice system and bring those, your experiences to light. So it's a powerful message, and I imagine it'll be more powerful in the future as well. So.
Yes, indeed. My wife always says that to be free is to free others. So it is our responsibility to free others now that we've been freed.
Great. Thank you guys so much. This will conclude this roundtable.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for having us.
We'll meet you guys.
Whew. Well, that was a powerful roundtable with Fox and Rob Rich about their documentary Time, which is available to stream on Amazon Prime starting October 16th. If you like this interview, please feel free to like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And as always, please go to watchyourpass.com for all your movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Thank you.